Welcome to War of the Mind podcast with Lauren Johnson, your weekly dose of real-life experience for you, by you, giving listeners the chance to share their story while helping others and giving us all the opportunity to listen or be silent no more. Paving the way for War of the Mind to share these life stories of struggles to triumphs, failures to promise. Here, we are all one, and as one, we can overcome life's journey towards finding our purpose.
And welcome to another show of War of the Mind. I'm your host, Lauren Johnson. And last week we talked a little bit about bullying. Bullying can lead into other things like trauma. Everybody's different, If somebody's picking on somebody, beating on them, bullying them, that can cause trauma to an individual. And it's not cool, but it happens every day, from adults to workplace to our kids at school, and it's sad how these kids learn it. A lot of it has to do with parenting, and you look back in the day, like my parents, my grandma and grandpa. And there wasn't really bullying. People had respect for each other. Nowadays, no one really has respect for anybody. Everybody's out for themselves. And, if you're going to get further in life, you have to be able to open yourself up to ask for help or reach out and help somebody else. And you can't do that if you're sitting there running the streets or at workplace bullying people and thinking you're the best and brown-nosing all the way up to the boss. That stuff catches up to you. And, that causes trauma to people. And, trauma is an experience that overwhelms a person's ability to cope, leaving them feeling helpless and powerless. Traumatic experiences, can include sexual assault, emotional abuse, neglect, accidents, natural disasters, life-threatening events. Trauma can cause, a range from physical to emotional, including anxiety, depression, PTSD, and substance abuse. Substance abuse is a huge one. Even with COVID, I think, caused a lot of people to either relapse or become an addict. I know that statistic rose. Trauma is a complex issue that affects individuals in different ways. Now, there's no one size that fits all approach to the treatment for trauma. However, there are some key principles that guide effective trauma therapy. The importance of safety. One of the most important principles of trauma therapy is creating a safe space for the individual. This means providing a supportive and valid environment where the person feels heard, seen, and understood. A trauma-informed therapist will work to create therapeutic relationships that is based on trust, respect, and collaboration. Let's see here. Trauma refers to experiences that are overwhelming, often involving a threat or life threat to life or physical integrity and can result in long-lasting psychological effects. Trauma can lead to a variety of symptoms, including intrusive thoughts, nightmares, avoidance, hyperarousal, and emotional numbing. There are different types of trauma, including acute, chronic, complex, and developmental trauma. Trauma can impact the brain development, and there is evidence to suggest that early trauma can lead to long-term physical and mental health problems. There are different approaches in treating trauma, including cognitive behavioral therapy, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing, and somatic therapies. Now, if you're a medical professional, the trauma has physical injury with long-term health consequences. If you're a mental health professional, trauma has a psychological injury that can lead to various mental health conditions. Social workers, trauma is a social issue that disproportionately affects marginalized population. Now, I worked in law enforcement for 10 years, and trauma is a result of exposure to violence and other traumatic events in the line of duty. Now, I've seen people die at crashes, I've seen people commit suicide, I've held kids in my arms, praying that they're going to make it. That really traumatized me and still does today. Because I promised that little boy that he was going to make it, and he didn't. And it weighs on me every day. But, the state patrol, they just expect me to go to work 4 hours later and work my shift like nothing happened. That was about the point. I'd worked for another 4 years, but at that point, I really, really wanted to be done. It was that traumatic event caused me to not want to, be a trooper anymore. Military trauma as a result of exposure to combat and other high stress. Those poor our vets, think about everything they see. And losing their friends, losing their, comrades, but yet at the same time shooting, killing other people. Educators, advocates, trauma, systematic issues. It's important for clinicians to be aware of the potential impact of trauma on their clients and be trained in trauma-informed care. In summary, trauma refers to overwhelming experiences that can have long-lasting psychological effects. And there are different types of approaches to treating trauma that requires clinicians to be trained in trauma-informed care. Now, regarding recommended types of care for individuals facing day-to-day trauma and PTSD, evidence-based treatments include CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy, EMDR, and somatic therapies. Now, there's also DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, is also essential for prioritizing self-care, such as regular exercise, eating healthy, stress reduction. Support groups and peer-led groups can provide emotional support and validation, and trauma-informed care approaches can help ensure the individuals feel safe and respected and empowered in their interactions with healthcare providers, educators, and other professionals. I have a table here outlining different audiences and their perspectives on trauma along with their motivations. Now I can post this on our website or social media, and you guys can check it out. It's really good. It's medical professionals, their perspective, and then their motivation. And it's got law enforcement, trauma as a result of exposure to violence and other traumatic events on the line of duty, and the importance of trauma-informed approaches in policing to promote safety and well-being in the community is their motivation. As a renowned psychiatrist and author, the focus has been rooted in research, personal curiosity, experience. I have expertise in trauma. I've lived it. Over the course of my career, I've come to appreciate pervasive impact of trauma on mental health and well-being and the power of treatment. Understanding trauma. As we continue to learn more about the impact of trauma on mental health and well-being, it is my hope that we will continue to prioritize research and practice that supports healing and recovery. And this is why I want to eventually build a retreat center so that if a person feels like they're going to relapse or having a mental breakdown, don't want to go to the hospital, don't want to go to treatment, don't want to go to AA, but they want a safe place to go to where they can stay 1 night, 2 nights a week. And we'll have, classes and therapists there and peer support and, get you back on your feet and just take a break from life. And it's going to be called Milestone Legacy. And that's the long-term goal, is build that facility. Want to have animals, art, all that stuff. And pretty soon here we're going to be asking for donations, and I think it's something our community needs. I don't think there's enough of them. And, we just have to start raising the money for it and taking donations. So if you're looking to donate, go ahead and check out our Twitter account and you can donate there. And looking ahead as we continue to learn more about the impact of trauma on our mental health and well-being, it is my hope to change recovery by prompting trauma-informed care, increasing access to evidence-based treatments. Trauma is an experience that overwhelms a person's ability to cope, leaving them feeling helpless and powerless. Traumatic experiences can include physical, sexual, emotional abuse, neglect, accidents, and other life-threatening events. Now, there's also complex trauma, which is even worse, and it probably takes a lifetime to get under control. Athletes can even face a range of mental health challenges, from performance anxiety to burnout. They need mental training and techniques to help them manage their emotions and improve their performance. They can benefit from mindfulness practices, visualization exercises, and techniques for managing stress and anxiety. Business owners can even, employees, healthcare workers, parents face a range of stressors from managing their own work, personal responsibilities, to raising happy, healthy children. They need practical tools for managing their own stress and prompting positive parenting. They can benefit from mindfulness practices, gratitude exercises, and techniques for managing their emotions and relationships. Elder care workers, first responders, military, mental health professionals, social workers, caregivers. A caregiver, because my wife is also a caregiver. Caregivers face unique stressors from managing their needs of their loved ones to dealing with their own emotional and physical demands. They need techniques for managing their stress levels and promoting positive relationships with their clients. They can benefit from mindfulness practices, self-care strategies, and techniques that their emotions building resilience. Now, like I said before, there's CBT, DBT, all those. First one we'll cover is dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT. Is a therapy approach that emphasizes balancing acceptance and change when working with trauma. Now, think about it. DBT can particularly help as it can help clients learn new coping skills to manage difficult emotions, improve relationships, increase self-awareness. Here are 3 strategic models that can be used when implementing DBT and trauma-informed approach. Now there's an ABC model. Now the word I can't really say, antecedent behavior consequences model, ABC. It's a simple yet effective model for used in DBT to understand how behaviors, emotions triggered. This model can be used to help clients identify their triggers, understand their relationships between emotions, behaviors, find effective coping strategies. The benefit of using the ABC model is that it can help clients become more self-aware. And self-awareness we've covered before and how important that is. The benefit and responsibility for their own actions. To use this model, therapists can work with clients to identify the antecedent, what happened before, the behavior and what the client did or felt, and the consequence, what happened as a result, or a particular situation. There's also EMDR, which is, they do adaptive information, AIP, the 3-pronged approach. I'm not going to cover all these. The window of tolerance, cognitive interweave. Here are some strategic models for coping skills when working with trauma. CBT, mindfulness-based stress reduction. Like we said, DBT, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy. Now, with trauma, you gotta have some resilience and fight. And resilience, is the ability to bounce back from adversity, handle stress in a healthy way. Resilience training is a process. We can't build it overnight. It takes time. Trauma is a deeply distressing and disturbing experience that can cause long-term psychological, emotional effects. Trauma can have a profound impact on a person's resilience. Resilience training can help individuals who have experienced trauma to build the skills they need to cope and overcome their experiences. Now, an example would be like John has experienced a traumatic event. He is having a hard time coping with it. He feels like he's stuck in a negative cycle and can't move from the experience. Resilience training can help John build the skills he needs to cope with trauma and move forward. Now, like we said, building resilience through self-care. Self-care is so important, and I can't preach it enough. When you are doing self-care, your mind and body are in a different place, and you're so much further ahead and becoming that person you want to be and building that resilience. And self-care is the essential part of building resilience. Self-care isn't any activity that you do to take care of your physical, mental, emotional health. I personally like doing art. Never did it before. I like going out in nature, bow hunting. I just like being out in the woods. I really enjoy my time with my dog. It's a service dog, Australian Shepherd. He's supposed to be a mini, but he ended up being very, very big, about 60-some pounds, which I don't think is a mini. Engaging in self-care can help you feel, more resilient and better equipped to handle stress and trauma. Some examples of self-care include meditation, spending time in nature, and getting enough sleep. Boy, that was pretty close to what I said. Now, you can also develop resilience to overcome trauma through social support. Social support is a crucial aspect of building resilience. Social support can come from family, friends, support group, mental health. Having a support system can provide a sense of security and comfort and can help individuals to feel less alone dealing with trauma. And don't forget about mindfulness. And with that, we're going to cut it off here on War of the Mind. And next week, next episode, we're going to be giving away prizes to anybody that goes to our website, LJ Voice Project, and writes us any comments. And whoever the first five that write us will get a prize. And we'll surprise you tomorrow or the next episode with what your prize is. So if you're a listener, get on our website, ljvoiceproject.com, and check out our contact us page and write us and see if you get a prize. First five, I said. First five. And with that, keep hope alive. And we're signing off, and have a good day. I'm your host, Lauren Johnson.
And I want to thank you all for listening to the show today. I appreciate all the views, and just go ahead and don't forget to share with your friends and family, and don't forget to like us on Facebook, The Voice Project, and we're also on Twitter at LJ Voice Project, and we also check out our email. Our website is ljvoiceproject.com. Email is contactus@ljvoiceproject.com. Or we also have Lauren, Loren Johnson @ljvoiceproject.com. We're also on Instagram. All of those. Just write us on our webpage, and we can easily get back to you. Just leave us a phone number. Our WhatsApp phone numbers on there as well. So feel free to contact us. We're always available and free to answer. So I really hope to hear from you soon.